Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that is now quite old, is now quite difficult to find, and is become very collectible, especially in this condition. We are looking at the 1996 release by IPI from their series of Star Trek electronic keychains. And this particular one we're looking at today is from Star Trek The Next Generation, and it is of the Phaser Type 2, as seen in the TV series Star Trek Next Generation. And it is electronic, so it is with authentic laser or phaser sounds and a powerful light. Now, Star Trek Next Generation, as you know, was one of the most popular Star Trek television series ever. It was produced and aired between September 28th, 1987 to May the 23rd, 1994. There was 178 episodes produced over a period of 7 seasons. And it was, well, really the third series in the Star Trek franchise. So the original series was Star Trek, the original series, which aired from 66 to 69, and then you had Star Trek the animated series in 1972-73, and then there was this long hiatus until Star Trek The Next Generation aired in 1987, which is 21 years after the original series had first aired. But the show was incredibly popular, and it was set about 100 years further on from the original television series, and it was an all-new cast, all-new crew, all-new starship, and obviously a much improved and updated Federation. Now, the episodes were about 45 minutes long, and the budget for each episode was $1.3 million. And obviously straight after the end of the Next Generation, which finished in 1994, they went straight to the production of the very first movie featuring the Next Generation, which was Star Trek Generations, and that also featured Captain Kirk from the original series, Commander Chekhov, also from the original series, and Commander Scott from the original series, or he was Captain Scott by then. And that was all from, that was William Shatner, Walter Koenig and James Doohan that reprised their role in the first of the Next Generation movies. And the Next Generation went on to make First Contact, Insurrection, and the final movie was Nemesis. Okay, anyway, let's not digress any further. This is the item in front of us, and you can see on the card it says Star Trek Next Generation. It's got Phaser Type 2 keychain with authentic phaser sound and powerful light. And just behind the phaser, you can see an image of the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D as it appeared in Star Trek Next Generation. And just below, or just to the right of that phaser, you can see an image of Captain Picard as portrayed by Patrick Stewart, and Councillor Deanna Troi as portrayed by Marina Sirtis, and that's taken from an episode of Star Trek Next Generation. Okay, that's the front of the card. Let's now turn the card around to the back, and let's see what we got printed on the back. Okay, so I've turned the card around, and this is what we got on the back. So it says Star Trek Next Generation, and there's an image there of the phaser, and it shows you how to change the batteries and where they actually go. And it says battery operation, before operating, open battery hatch is shown in diagram and remove the plastic tab. Replace the battery hatch. Battery replacement, open battery hatch is shown in diagram. Note position of batteries, replace in same position with LR44 or A76 batteries. And it says additional keychains available, and you've got Star Trek Phaser Type 2 from the original series. You've got Star Trek The Next Generation sound effects. Star Trek Communicator, again from the original series. Star Trek tricorder, again from the original series. Star Trek sound effects, again sound effects from the original series. And then you have Star Trek Next Generation Phaser Type 1 and Star Trek Next Generation tricorder. Now, those of you that watch our videos regularly, you know that we have done a couple of these already. We have done a video on the original series Star Trek Communicator, and we've also done one on the Next Generation Phaser Type 1. It says, join the official Star Trek fan club today for only $16.95 by calling 1-800-TRUE-FAN and use your Visa or MasterCard. And this is copyright 1996, Paramount Pictures, all rights reserved. Star Trek and related marks are trademarks of Paramount Pictures. IPA is an authorised user. And then you've got the IPA details at the bottom there and the item number. And it's printed and made in China. And you've got the barcode on the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, that's the back of the card. Now, this particular item was used as a shop display item. So it was removed from the pack. And it was in a display cabinet for, I think, from what they said to me, I think it was about 5 or 6 months while all these key rings were being made, were available to purchase. And then when they changed the display, they removed the batteries so that they didn't leak, put the items back in the card and put them into the stock room. They didn't expect anyone to buy them because the packets were opened, so they never attempted to sell them. And they sat in the stock room until we went in and bought out all their stock, and we found a complete set of these key rings in the stock room, all in open packaging, but all of them had the batteries removed. So what we're going to do now, as this pack is already been opened, we are going to remove the phaser from the packet, and we are going to put some new batteries into it, and we're going to have a look at it in its full working condition. Okay, so I have removed the item from the packet, and this is what we got. So we've got the phaser here, the keychain. We also get this little bit of paper that come with it. It was in the packet with the phasers. I don't know what this is. Let's open it up and have a look. I'm guessing it's going to be the warranty. And what does it say on here? Oh yeah, limited warranty. Interstellar Productions Limited does hereby warrant that this product will be free from defects in material and workmanship for a period of 1 year from the time of purchase. Within the warranty period, if the item is defective in workmanship or materials, the warrantor will repair or replace the product without charge. And it tells you how to return the item and whatever. Warranty exclusions. The warranty shall not apply to abnormal wear, breakage or tampering with the unit. This warranty shall not apply to units with low or discharged batteries. Okay, so in other words, the batteries leak, you can send it back under warranty or anything like that. And if it stopped working due to low battery life, then it wouldn't be warranted either. But anyway, that was 30 years ago, so these are not going to be covered by any warranty now anyway. So there we are. These are just vintage items. Right, so I have actually put some new batteries in. Now, batteries are pretty much easy to put in. You just slide off this section here, if I can just show you. There we go. And I've inserted 3 new batteries into the battery compartment as shown. I'm just going to put that cover back over there and lock that back into position. Okay, and let's see now if, in actual fact, before I do that, let's just get some measurements of the item so you can see how big it is. So this is 10 centimeters in length, as you can see. So it is a nice size. It's nowhere near as big as the the full-size Playmates version, but it is a nice size one, 10 centimeters. The widest part across the body is 2.5 centimeters, you can see there. And the height of the item at the widest point, again, is about 2.5 centimeters, you can see. It does have the keychain on the back of it, which is about 3 centimeters, and then the actual key ring itself is about 2.5 centimeters in diameter. So that just gives you an idea of the size. Right, now we have 3 buttons on here. So the main button is the middle one, so let's press that and see what happens. Okay. Right, so when we press that, we get the sound effects. And you can see the light is working. Let's press the first button. Okay, so if you press the first button, you just get the light. So you don't get the sound effects. And it is a bright light, even though you can't see it very well because I've got a lot of light in the booth, but you can see how it is lighting up against the back of the booth there, or indeed on the lower section of the booth there. I'll touch the back button that time. And the second button then, so that was a button on the left which gives you the light. So the button on the right is the sound. So if you just want the sound without the light, you press the button on the right. And if you just want the light without the sound, you press the button on the left. And if you want them both, you press the middle button. Now, unlike some of the others, if you hold the button down, nothing happens apart from the fact that the light stays on. Whereas if you hold the sound button down, it doesn't repeat like some of the other ones do. So hold it down, you get the sound effect, and you get the light that stays on as long as you're holding the button down. So there we are. That is the Phaser Type 2 keychain from 1996. And I think it's great, I do. I really liked these key rings. There's a little bit of nostalgia there for me with these, but I do think, you know, they were absolutely awesome, made very, very well. They do look exactly like the versions seen in the television series, but just a quarter of the size that they use on the TV series. Much nicer size for kids if they were going to play with them. The larger ones were really more for adult size hands, but these were really perfect for your little one, if your little one wants to run around blasting people with a phaser. Okay, question you're going to ask me is, how well did these do back in 1996? Well, back in 1996, Star Trek was massive. It was the largest sci-fi franchise in the world. We'd been elongated with Star Trek television series. We had the original series, we had the animated series, we'd had the movies from the original series. So we had the motion picture, The Wrath of Khan, The Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, The Final Frontier, and The Undiscovered Countries. We had all 6 of those. We'd had Star Trek The Next Generation, which had ran for 7 seasons on the TV, and that finished in 1994. And then we'd had Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which aired from 1993, so it had been running a year before The Next Generation moved from TV to the movies. And then of course we'd had Star Trek Generations, and we were about to have, I think at this point we might have, the First Contact might have just been released in 1996, or we was about to have the film released. I'm just trying to remember now. So we did have the shop at the time, and these key rings were all distributed in the UK by a company called Downpace. No, I think when we got these, it was before First Contact actually aired. Because First Contact didn't come out until the end of the year. I think it was about mid-November when it first was released. So, and I'm sure these key rings, it was summertime when these key rings came out. So, yeah, so we hadn't quite had First Contact yet. We did, however, have the next series of Star Trek, which was Star Trek Voyager, which hit the airways in 1995. And again, that was another very popular one that ran for another 7 seasons, as did Deep Space Nine. So very, very popular, those 3 series. So back to the point is that Star Trek was huge at that time. There was nothing that could compare to it. Not until the announcement of the new Star Wars movies at the end of 1997, I think it was 1998, around about that time, when and then the first 3 films were digitally remastered and returned to the cinema, and obviously then Star Wars became absolutely massive again, and took over as the most popular sci-fi franchise. But at this time, 1996, it was Star Trek. Star Trek held the mantle. Now, as I said, these were distributed in the UK by Downpace, and I can remember you used to have a rep that used to come round to your shop. We had the shop at the time, and they came round and they showed you all of these new items that were coming out, and there was all these key rings, these electronic key rings, as well as standard key rings, as well as pins. And we ordered the entire display, which was a metal stand, a rotating stand that would stand up in the shop, and would have all of these key chains and key rings on, as well as the pins, and just the standard key rings and so on. Now, when that came in, and these electronic phase key rings were first available, that first Saturday, when we actually launched that into the shop, we sold out of these electronic key rings that same day. We had a lot of our customers was anticipating the release of these, so they were desperate to get them. We had a lot of repeat customers that were coming every weekend looking for new items, and a lot of them would pre-order these items. So when they came in, they literally went straight off the shelf, and anybody that was coming in would come in and pick up not just one of these, but they would pick up all of them. So originally we only had the first 4 items, which was the original series communicator, the Type 1 phaser, the Type 2 phaser from Star Trek Next Generation, and the original tricorder. They were the first 4 that came out, and then of course they were followed by the rest of them. But the original 4 were those, and that particular weekend, everybody, well, they wasn't just picking one up, they were picking all 4 up and taking them out. I think they were about £4.99 each when they first came out, but we literally sold out of them in that one day. We still had the other key rings and the other pins on the stand, but obviously the main thing that everyone wanted was these electronic key rings, and they literally sold phenomenally well. Needless to say, we had to wait for the next batch of stock to come in, and well, we had regular new batches of these stocks arrive in the shop, and they would go on the shelf, and they were a very, very good seller for at least a few years until the line was discontinued. So excellent sellers these were. They really done their part, and they sold out phenomenally well. Okay, let's move forward now. Almost 30 years. I can't believe that's nearly 30 years ago. But yeah, so we're moving forward to 2025, which is 29 years to be precise. And the question you're asking me is, do these come up for sale very often nowadays on the platforms? And the answer to that is not really. You do occasionally see them on the platforms. Very rarely see them like this particular one with the packaging. A lot of what you see now on the platforms is just loose items that have been used or played with or what have you. You do quite often see them as untested. And to be honest with you, if you look on the platform and you see something that says untested, it's usually because it's not working. And that's usually because of battery leakage, or overuse, misuse, what have you. But if you read that and it says untested, you're pretty certain that you're going to receive one that doesn't work. And a lot of the time it's literally just due to battery leakage. So if you can go into the battery compartment and clean it out, put a little bit of electrical spray in there's a good chance that you could get them to work. But there's no guarantee, of course. So if you are going to buy it on a platform, do be very, very careful, and do have a good look at the item you're about to buy. And also be careful, because some of the platforms use stock photographs, and if you are about to order from someone who's using a stock photograph, you might end up with something that don't really want exactly. You don't think you're about to order. So if it's got a used link on it, click on it, read it, and then you'll know about just what you're about to receive if you do buy it. Or alternatively, you can come to us at Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles, where we do not believe in stock photographs. What you see on the website is exactly the item that you will be receiving. If we have different conditions of the same item, they are different products. We don't list them as the same item. So you cannot order, read something and order something differently. It doesn't happen on our website. And now, this, as I said, these particular items were shop stock display items. So they have been taken out of the packet. So the packet has been opened. However, the packets were neatly resealed, and we will close them up again and reseal them again. So they are very, very neatly resealed with clear tape, and we will leave new batteries in them so that they're working when you receive them, should you wish to order. Now, we don't have a great deal of these. We've only got the one of each of the entire set, and I do believe that a couple of them have now sold. So we are beginning to run down the stock on these. So if it is something that you would like, they are available. Currently, this particular one is, as of today, is currently available to purchase on the MyStarTrek website. You can get there very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage Star Trek items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful old Star Trek Phaser Type 2 keychain with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.